remember this from your days in the lobby, is that this information is coming from within the Starmer administration somewhere.
Yeah.
Nobody outside would have all of the information that's been leaked steadily, drip by...
You won't believe the bombshell that just dropped. Keir Starmer, the Labour leader, is now caught in a scandal that's got everyone talking. Turns out Starmer has been enjoying access to not one, but several luxury properties, all thanks to Lord Ali, a millionaire donor. From a £4 million townhouse in Soho to a swanky penthouse in Covent Garden, these gifts were never properly declared. And now, the media is on fire, with people wondering, just how deep does Starmer's connection to Lord Ali go? Could this be the beginning of the end for him?
That Keir Starmer has paid back today £6,000 worth of gifts and hospitality he has received since becoming Prime Minister.
The first signs of trouble for Keir Starmer came when reports surfaced that he had received a series of gifts from Lord Ali, a wealthy businessman and key donor to the Labour Party. Initially, these gifts were thought to be small tokens, nothing out of the ordinary in the world of politics, where donations and gifts from supporters are a regular occurrence. But things took a turn when it was revealed that Starmer's team had downplayed the extent of what he had received.
On top of the 16,200, Keir received 10,000 in clothing donations in October last year and 6,000 in February this year, which he did not declare as clothing, rather as money for his private office.
You see, Lord Ali had given more than just simple gifts. He provided access to luxury properties and expensive items, including clothing valued at thousands of pounds. It wasn't just one or two items either. Starmer had reportedly received tens of thousands of pounds worth of clothing and other benefits. Despite this, his team tried to brush it off as if it were no big deal, perhaps hoping no one would dig deeper. But of course, when something like this happens in politics, it rarely stays hidden for long.
During the general election, you campaigned on a message of change, of doing politics differently and making yours a government of service. And yet you find yourself caught in a row over the huge amount of freebies you've accepted.
The bigger issue at play here isn't just about Starmer's acceptance of these gifts. It's about the lack of transparency. The rules for MPs are clear. Anything that could influence their decisions must be declared. Yet, Starmer and his team appeared to have selectively disclosed the benefits, which raises questions about honesty and integrity. In politics, transparency is everything, and when it's compromised, the consequences can be severe.
In terms of the details of the challenges, look, of course there will be challenges along the way.
Just when we thought things couldn't get worse for Keir Starmer, another bombshell dropped. This time, it was revealed that Starmer had been using a £4 million luxury townhouse in Soho, courtesy of none other than Lord Ali. Now, this wasn't just a quiet getaway house. It was a place where Starmer's team held election strategy meetings ahead of the general election. This revelation comes on the heels of earlier reports that Starmer had already accepted the use of several high-end properties from Lord Ali, but this one wasn't previously disclosed.
I think I do, Camilla.
Yeah, it's clever, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Talking about Sue Gray, Keir Starmer's chief of staff, who has ended up in the headlines for all the wrong reasons this week. A bit like her boss, actually.
She has. She's taken a pay rise and she is now paid more than the Prime Minister.
What makes this latest leak even more shocking is the fact that key figures from Starmer's team were present during these meetings. People like Sue Gray, his chief of staff, and Pat McFadden, now the Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, were reportedly regulars at these gatherings. It's clear that these weren't just casual meetups. They were high-level strategic discussions about the future of the Labour Party. The big question here is why this wasn't declared sooner. It's not every day that a sitting Prime Minister uses a luxury townhouse for official meetings and doesn't see fit to mention it. By now, the list of undeclared gifts and benefits connected to Starmer is starting to look a little suspicious. We've got the Covent Garden penthouse, the Manhattan apartment, and now this townhouse in Soho.
Lord Ali, can I just quickly ask you, please? Lord Ali, just because you've been in the news so much, can I please ask you how you feel about the donations? Do you regret making any of those donations, Lord Ali?
The fact that all of these benefits were provided by the same person, Lord Ali, only deepens the intrigue. It begs the question, just how close are Starmer and Ali, and what kind of influence does Lord Ali have over the Labour Party?
At times like this,
we must all put the national interest first and play by the rules. Of course, I understand that sticking to the rules can be inconvenient, but stick to the rules we must.
There's more, much more. One of the first properties that came to light was Lord Ali's Covent Garden penthouse, where Starmer's family reportedly stayed for about 6 weeks during the election campaign. Now, this isn't your typical London flat. We're talking about an £18 million penthouse in one of the most desirable parts of the city. But when Starmer declared the stay, he valued it at only £2,000, which is suspiciously low given that similar properties in the area can easily fetch £1,800 per day. It seems like someone didn't get their math quite right, but that's not all. There's also the Manhattan apartment, worth a cool £2 million, which was used by Angela Rayner, the Deputy Prime Minister. She spent several days there on holiday last year, yet when it was declared, the value was again vastly underreported. Properties like that in Manhattan's prime locations go for much more than what Rayner and Starmer's team declared. It's becoming increasingly clear that the Labour Party, especially Starmer and his allies, have been benefiting from some very high-end hospitality, courtesy of Lord Ali. When you step back and look at it, the scope of the gifts is staggering. Luxury properties, designer clothes, and more, all generously provided by one man. And the big question here is, why hasn't it all been properly declared? It's not just about enjoying a fancy holiday or using a swanky apartment for meetings, it's about transparency and the need for public trust in our politicians.
Well off, certainly not better off, because you've taken away their winter fuel allowance. Would you like to say sorry?
The people who should be saying sorry are the last government who left a hole of £22 billion.
Now, when it comes to MPs accepting gifts or benefits, there are some pretty clear rules in place. The MP's Code of Conduct is designed to ensure transparency, particularly when it comes to anything that could influence a politician's decisions or behaviour. The code states that MPs must declare any benefit they receive as a result of their parliamentary or political activities. So whether it's a stay in a luxury penthouse or free designer clothing, it all needs to be declared publicly.
We came in as a government of change. We are now going to bring forward principles for donation.
In Starmer's case, the failure to declare the use of these properties could be a serious breach of those rules. Even though Starmer might argue that some of these properties were used for wider group activities, like strategy meetings rather than personal leisure, it doesn't change the fact that there's a clear expectation of transparency. And let's be honest, if an MP is holding meetings in a multi-million-pound property that's been gifted to them, people have a right to know. What makes this situation even trickier is that Starmer might try to justify his non-declaration by claiming these properties weren't personal benefits. But when you start holding meetings in a luxurious townhouse or taking your family on holiday in a penthouse, it's hard to argue that you didn't personally benefit from the arrangement. The Code of Conduct exists to prevent exactly these kinds of situations, where there's a blurred line between what's personal and what's political.
Lord Ali, can I just quickly ask you, please? Lord Ali, just because you've been in the news so much, can I please ask you how you feel about the donations? Do you regret making any of those donations, Lord Ali? Lord Ali, how do you feel about being in the news so much and the fact that it's overshadowed Labour conference? Lord Ali, do you have anything to say?
Is that okay if you're just going to stop here?
As the scandal involving Keir Starmer and Lord Ali's undeclared gifts continues to unravel, it's no surprise that the Conservative Party and the Scottish National Party, SNP, have been quick to call for formal investigations into Starmer's ties to the wealthy donor. The Tories, already eager to undermine Starmer's leadership, have seized on this as an opportunity to question his integrity. They've raised concerns about the influence Lord Ali might be exerting on Starmer and the Labour Party, calling for more transparency and accountability. The SNP too hasn't held back, with many of its members echoing the same demands for an inquiry. The fact that multiple political parties are now pressuring Starmer shows just how serious this situation has become. But it's not just the opposition that's causing headaches for Starmer. Inside his own party, there's growing discontent. Rosie Duffield's resignation from Labour was a major blow, as she accused Starmer of hypocrisy for accepting lavish gifts while making tough economic decisions that affect ordinary citizens, like cutting winter fuel payments for pensioners. Duffield's public departure only adds fuel to the fire, painting a picture of a leader who says one thing but does another. It's this kind of internal rebellion that could hurt Starmer the most, as it shows cracks within his own ranks.